talk of reintroducing a Zimbabwe dollar or even a SADC currency in 2 or 3 years' time is probably not helpful at this early stage. But I think from government's perspective also, and it comes back to what you were suggesting, is that you must make the ease of doing business that very much easier. So if you want to set up a business, you must make it easy to set up a business, easy for an entrepreneur to come back into the country, not have to worry about citizenship, access capital, and do what you can. And the one thing that Zimbabweans, I think, have learned to do extremely well, those living in Zimbabwe and those living elsewhere, is that they've become, by definition, all entrepreneurs. And I think that's a huge opportunity for Zimbabwe.
Okay, thank you. Amal, would you like to respond to any of these?
Out of our 8 senior managers in Zimbabwe, 7 are Zimbabweans and 1 is expat. In our hotel we have 0 expats, and in our mine totally we have only one expat. So we are committed to local hiring. We had 2 people who returned, one from Dubai and the Zimbabweans, and one from Mozambique. And for both of them, when they asked me why should we go back, and are we making it worthwhile for them to go back, I had to answer factually by saying, your going back is based not on logic or pure reason. Your going back is based on emotions and the leap of faith. You have a first mover advantage by coming back, and that is your best shot. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe in the country, if you don't believe for a better future for your children, and have some optimistic and maybe naive, idealistic view about the future of your country, then don't do me a favor and do us a favor and come back, because you are going to last a few months and then go back again. So there has to be, clearly when we are talking to people, if you are coming back, there has to be this citizenship, this sentimental notion of commitment to the country, to the development of the country, because you are coming back to help in enabling the country to move forward. You are not going back to take advantage of a desperate situation where supposedly you will become a millionaire overnight. So I think that message should be very clear, and people should not do other people favors by saying we are going back for you. No, you are going back because you believe in the country, and somehow you were raised that you want to be for your kids in that country. I hope I'm not being too political for you.
No, I think what you're saying is very idealistic, in as much as the question that Tawanda asks. Because asking the question, remember that you're going to the country to contribute to the turnaround and so forth. That's a revolutionary act. And the people that left the country ran away from the country. They couldn't stand the revolution. So it's important to bear in mind that this is going to be a very selfish decision. There are not many people who are driven by patriotism, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not fool ourselves. At the end of the day, it's a question of how do my kids benefit? How do I benefit? How does my business benefit? Does the country benefit? Yes, perhaps down the road. Okay? Most of the people that are in the diaspora are people whose threshold for paying was very low, and hence they are where they are at the present moment. So what I'm saying, therefore, is that it's important to create the conditions that make the people go back. These are people with a very low threshold for paying, and they want to come back and be able to live in a comfortable place. And also, the point that has been raised about competitiveness is a very important point. These are people that have been exposed to societies that are much more developed than Zimbabwe. They've lived in South Africa, where things are different. They've lived in the UK. They lived in the States. So for Zimbabwe to be able to attract those people, we need to be competitive in all aspects. The tax regime that we're talking about, the political stability, the transparency and accountability, the schools and that kind of stuff need to be at such a level where people feel I can go back. Let's avoid being unrealistic and ask people to embark on journeys of huge patriotism, when at the end of the day, this is about me, this is about my family and so forth. Some of us have taken the leap to say, this is my country, but there are not so many travelers around who feel, I'm going to make a sacrifice, I'm going to invest. When people think it's unfashionable to be doing that, I'm going to make a change. It's incumbent upon the government the corporations that are operating in Zimbabwe, to ensure that the conditions are such that Zimbabweans feel, those that were outside the country, feel that now I can go back and I needn't run away. Because at the end of the day, good people, it's about me and my children being educated and being safe and secure.
Trevor, what about this idea that people in the diaspora could, from outside, still try and shape the conditions back home, for example, by being able to vote, by giving outsiders the chance to vote, or, for example, by sending more of their funds, their capital, back home in remittances?
Well, the people in the diaspora have been sending money for a very long time. I mean, I think if they hadn't, there wouldn't be the forex that was circulating prior to that. I think if you look at the internet forums and so forth, the chat forums, Facebook and so forth, people want to make a change. They want to make a difference. But are they prepared to pay the price for making the change and for making a difference? That's the question. So the empowering the people in the diaspora to vote would be a significant thing, where people feel that the conditions that I'm saying must change, I have an input towards making those conditions. Okay, I'm not happy with the constitution, but am I empowered to participate in shaping that constitution whilst still sitting in the diaspora? That's a very important measure of giving confidence to the people to go back.
And would you see any prospect of that happening?
Well, I think it's, for me, right now, let me put it this way. I think ZANU-PF would be very reluctant to do that, okay, because they feel threatened by the people that went into the diaspora. I don't want to speak on behalf of the Prime Minister, but I think that MDC realizes that there's a big constituency of their supporters and voters that are outside, and that's important to empower those. Whether the two are able to find each other as far as that question is concerned, I have no idea.
Okay, thank you. Let's